Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I am your host, your bartender in the OSR, or Tenkar, and listen, our Substack that lets you follow what's going on in this channel, our I like to call our sister channels, the channels of my co-hosts, the friends of this channel. There's a lot of other channels that are listed there, tankarstavern.substack.com. I think we got 98 subscribers, two more for an even 100. Nice, not too shabby. So, I got to thinking today, and I know I think a lot, but I was thinking today because somebody on the Facebook group, the D&D Facebook group, which by the way, I don't believe it says D&D 5e. I think it just says the Dungeons and Dragons Facebook group. Made a comment, and it was actually it was not an offensive comment. It's not one that I went, oh my god. But they were like, you're OSR, you really don't play 5e. I'm kind of surprised you're sharing some of your videos here on, within this group. I mean, they were appropriate, they were on topic, but he was just surprised. And it got me thinking, right? Because, listen, if somebody outside, I might say to my wife, hey, we're going to be doing some OSR gaming at the next convention we go to, because Rachel's in. She's all in. She understands. She married me. So she's going to understand like anybody, she'll understand. But if I'm discussing what my hobby is outside of my close circle that's already in that hobby, what do? I play RPGs. What's RPGs? Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, you play D&D? Yes, I play D&D. Now, my preferred D&D might be Continual Light or Swords of Wizardry or Osric, right? Well, none of those things say D&D, but they're all clones to some extent of an earlier edition of D&D. And it got me thinking, we do these edition wars all the time, intentionally or not, okay? My D&D is better than your D&D. Get off my lawn, you young. Whatever. I will humbly submit, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, that all editions of D&D, with the quite possible likely exception of, you guessed it, fourth edition, because fourth edition was written to do something very different than prior editions, and that is that it was using MMOs as its influence as opposed to MMOs being influenced by tabletop RPGs. It was going to be building upon what they planned on being a VTT with microtransactions built into it. Again, going toward this whole digital gaming experience. Oh my God, that we're coming up with D&D 1. What's old is new. But I'm going to go as far as to say, if you get a player who plays any of the editions, again, with the possible exception of 4E, anyone who plays 5E, 3E, 1E, basic expert, and you sit them down at a table, say, hey, we're going to play D&D. And you break out one of these games, one of these editions, they should all be able to understand what's going on. They should all be able to grasp it. So it's not the edition that matters so much as the GM, as the DM. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I think myself as a decent DM. I think I do a pretty good job at it. I'm getting rusty. I need to get myself back into it. But could I grab third edition or fifth edition and run with it and have my players have a good time? Fuck no. No, it'll be fucking miserable. Okay, I've told this story before. Actually, I've done this now at two conventions, but at Gary Con a number of years ago, when we had flights get canceled out of New York for, I don't know, a few inches of snow. But we got there a day late, and other people. There were a number of cancellations. There was some bad snow throughout the country, and I think it was Saturday afternoon, like 2 o'clock. I'm told, oh, hey, we have a 5e game that's not covered for Frog God Games. Mouth of Doom, and I would run Mouth of Doom. I'd run it for Swords and Wizardry. I knew it like the back of my hand. Eric, we need you to run 5e. I go, I don't know 5e. We need you to run 5e. I go, you're right. I don't know 5e. Somebody with the company must know 5e. No. So I went with a stack of Swords and Wizardry lights. And I get to the table and I said, hey, listen, I know I'm not the DM that you're expecting. He got snowed out. Here's the deal. I don't know 5e. I do know Swords and Wizardry. Actually, I wrote the Swords and Wizardry light rules. If you are comfortable playing D&D with a different edition of the rules, we can have at it. Otherwise, I'm probably going to need one of you to be my co-DM to handle all of the rules questions and the resolutions, because I don't have that skill. I don't have that knowledge. And if anybody wants to leave the table, no harm, no foul. One person was like, I can't. And listen, that's going to happen. But 7 players, plus then an 8th player wandering by. Is there an open seat here? I'm like, yeah. What are we playing? I go, Swords and Wizardry. Oh, all right, hop on in. And the players, guess what? The players adjusted. They took it as like, oh, all right. And after they got past the idea, like, oh, well, we don't have skill checks for everything. I can't detect lie. Once you got past that, you got to the core of what it was. And what was it? It was role playing. And it was based upon a D20. Every edition of D&D, right, is based upon a D20 for the vast majority of its resolution. And the hit points, armor class, this stuff transcends edition. So I ran it, and they had fun. And some of my players went back to the Frog God table, either right after the game or the next morning, and they picked up the Swords and Wizardry core rules, complete rules, because they were interested. It doesn't mean they're going to stop playing 5e. I don't think any of them said, like, oh my God, this is earth-changing. But it was an ability, or an opportunity, I should say, to play Dungeons and Dragons with some of the less trappings, less of the extra rules that the later editions have added. Now, I can flash forward to ShireCon, where I, as a player, played in a 5th edition game. I know there's people going, oh my God, Tenkar played in the 5th edition. I played in the 5th edition game. How could I not? It was Charlie Brown meets Cthulhu. I was a skilled 5e DM. I had a great time. Half my table was old school gamers, at least. Old school gamers and their spouses. Rach has not played anything more complicated than Swords and Wizardry, and it was a bit overwhelming looking at those character sheets, 8-9 pages long from my 5th level monk. I was sleepy. But you know what? You could get your feet on the ground, and maybe you weren't running perfectly, but if I played in a 5e campaign for 2 or 3 sessions, I'd know enough as a player to play my character to the best of my ability, because I would be able to pick it up. I think the important thing, and if you disagree with me, please tell me, again, is that the DM be skilled in the rule set that they're going to run. I can run Swords and Wizardry Light. I can run Swords and Wizardry Complete with that rule book closed next to me. And just run by the adventure, and I can improvise stuff if needed. I don't need to refer to more. If I have to open a book, it's just to verify something on a spell usually. But I can keep it moving. I don't have those abilities for 3rd edition Pathfinder. And by the way, Pathfinder is another edition of D&D. I didn't mean to leave it out. Certainly can't do it for 5e. But a good 5e GM might not be able to comfortably run Swords and Wizardry. because they're expecting certain things for the rules to account for that aren't going to be there. But the right GM with the system that they know, whether it's a zero edition D&D by the book, classic white box, fifth edition, Astonishing Swordsman and Swordsbearers Hyperborea now, Labyrinth Lord, uh, Beckme, any of the D&D editions. If you know one as a player, you can learn them all. As a DM, you likely have your specialty. And you probably run your specialty better than any other edition. So I'd rather, if I'm going to play in somebody's D&D game, and they go, "Oh, do you want to play Swords of Wizardry or 5e?" I'd be like, "Well, hey, what rule set are you most comfortable with?" And if they go 5e, I go, "All right, we'll play 5e." Right? Because what do you call the DM, a DM, dungeon master, or a referee, or a judge, or the facilitator? Rachel likes the facilitator because she's a social worker. But no matter what you title that person, they are the engine. All right, they're going to be the driving force of those game sessions. And as long as they know those rules at the back of their hands, the game is likely going to go pretty well. The more skilled, the more experienced, sometimes natural talent, but you can tell the difference between somebody who is fluent with the rules and who isn't when they are a DM. As a player, I'm happy to play anything. With a DM that is experienced with the rules they want to roll with or run with. So, if you disagree with that, if you think that the rules are more important than the person running the game, or the edition is more important, I'd like to hear it. I personally, in my experience, I believe that the person running the game, so long as they are running a rule set that they know and are comfortable with, is better than playing in a game where I prefer the rule set, but the DM is not comfortable with them, is not that knowledgeable with it. But hey, that's why we have a chance for conversations. So drop a comment at the end. Why not? Let me know you're listening. Folks, we are still in the midst of the pandemic. Please use your common sense. Other than that, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice, rolling well. Oh, it's our Christmas. I've already had a number of people reach out to me about gifting. If you are a publisher, if you small or large, and you want to get involved in Oh, it's our Christmas this year, email me tenkars.tavern@gmail.com. I'll put up something also on the Tenkars Tavern blog later tonight. Time to get this stuff in motion. Oh my God, I'm the most non-organized person aside from Bad Mike. Bad Mike is the most organized, not organized person in the OSR. All right, folks. Thank you much. I will catch you later. God bless.